If your credit score is under 650, this video is for you. I'm going to show you the exact steps you can take to raise your credit score ASAP. First, let's talk about what makes up your actual credit score. So almost all the banks and lenders are going to use the FICO model of their credit score. And there's 5 main components to the FICO model. The first is payment history. That counts for 35% of your FICO score. The second is credit utilization. That's 30%. Then length of credit history is 15%. Then credit mix is 10%, and hard inquiries is 10%. So the most important thing is your payment history. That has the largest impact on your score. So the number one thing you can do to improve your score is to make payments on time every month. Payments over 30 days late will be reported to your credit score, and the longer it's late, the more damage it'll do to your credit score, and the higher amount of what's due that's late also impacts your credit score. So if you're 31 days late on a couple $100, it's gonna hurt your score, but not as much. If you're 100 days late on $8,000 worth of debt, it's really gonna hurt your score a lot. What you need to start doing today is make minimum payments on time every month to all your debt, whether that be credit card, medical debt, home mortgage, whatever. And then whatever extra you have, pay that on top to start paying down your balance. Forget going out this weekend, or forget going out for the rest of the year. All that extra couple $100 you're gonna use on the weekends is all gonna go towards the credit card debt or the mortgage that you have that you need to pay down. Next is credit utilization. This is another major component of the FICO credit score. Credit utilization is the ratio of the amount of credit you're using in regards to how much credit you have. So, for example, if you have a credit limit on a credit card of $1,000 and you use 500 of it, that's a 50% credit utilization ratio because you're using 50% of your credit limit. We want to shoot for a 10% utilization or less. The perfect one would be 1%, but I know it's not realistic for a lot of people, so let's shoot for 10%. So if the combined credit limit of all your credit cards combined is $5,000, you never want to have more than a $500 balance on all your credit cards combined. And even when you have that, you want to pay it off in full every month on time. And contrary to popular belief, you don't actually want a $0 balance or a 0% credit utilization, because you might think that'll help your score, but it'll help your score more if you're at 1%. The reason being is these credit card lenders want to see that you're responsible in borrowing money and paying it back. If you never borrow money and have a 0% utilization, they don't know if they can trust you. However, if you borrow even just a little bit, like 1%, and you pay it back each month on time, that helps your credit score way more than not using it at all. So if your credit card balances are high right now and they're not at 10% or lower, make that another priority and goal, is to pay it down to 10% or lower as soon as possible. Even having it under 20% is gonna help your credit score out a lot. Next is credit history. The longer you have a history of making on-time payments, the better your credit score will be. So this is something you can't really control as it takes time and you have to be consistent and dedicated to it. But one tip to help you is to avoid closing your 2 oldest accounts, because that can lower the average age of all your accounts combined if you close those older accounts. The fourth thing is credit mix. Now this isn't as important as the other 3 items, but every little bit helps when your credit score is low and you're trying to make it better. So there's 2 types of credit. There's revolving credit and installment credit. Revolving credit is your typical credit card. You use your credit card, however much you use is how much you pay at the end of each month, and you keep reusing it over and over. Installment payments are fixed monthly payments that don't change from month to month. While credit card payments could be $10,000 one month to $100 the next month, installment payments are normally gonna be fixed amount every single month. That's like a mortgage payment, a car loan payment, student loans, a personal loan. Those type of loans are called installment credit, while revolving credit are the credit cards. You want to actually have both installment and revolving credit because it shows you have a diversified credit mix and you're responsible using each type of credit. So you just have credit cards and you're renting and you don't have any student loans or any debts or car loans, you might want to consider doing a small personal loan from a bank and making payments on those to show you have a diverse credit mix. However, keep in mind, whatever you do have for installment credit, it has to be over 2 years. If you pay it off under 2 years, that will actually not benefit your credit score. So obviously a mortgage is probably gonna be more than 2 years, and car loan as well, but student loans or any personal loans you take out, try to make monthly payments on it on time for over 2 years before you pay it off. Also, contrary to popular belief, having more credit cards helps your credit score. A lot of people try to only have 1 or 2 credit cards and think a lot of credit cards will hurt your score. Yes, when you first open these cards, they'll count as a hard inquiry, which we'll talk about next, but it also increases your credit utilization and it increases your credit mix. Even Credit Karma recommends everyone have at least 12 credit cards or more. I know that sounds super counterintuitive, and that's why it's so confusing to a lot of people on how to get a real good credit score, because they think they're doing the right thing and it should help the credit, but it isn't actually how the FICO model works. And the last thing is hard inquiries. That means every time you apply for a loan or a credit card or any type of debt, they do a hard inquiry or a hard pull on your credit. They check your credit score and your credit report to see how credit worthy you are, but by doing so, it triggers a red flag or a hard inquiry on your account. The reason this is bad is if you have too many hard inquiries in a short period of time, that's kind of a red flag to lenders like, oh, this person must really need money. Why do they keep asking for money to borrow? So what you want to do is not have more than 2 hard inquiries every year. If you really want to improve your credit score, the best thing to do is not apply for any new credit cards, any new loans, any new mortgages or car loans for the next 2 years, and you'll see your credit score go up once these hard inquiries start dropping off. So attacking these 5 items will greatly improve your credit score. However, there's still more things you can do. Other big factors that can negatively impact your credit score is foreclosures, liens, collections on unpaid medical bills, unpaid rent, unpaid credit card bills, public judgments. All those things will stay on your credit report for 7 years. And if you file bankruptcy, that stays in your credit report for 10 years. So you definitely want to avoid foreclosures and bankruptcies at all costs. So let's say you are facing foreclosure on your mortgage, on your home, and you don't know what to do. An option for you is something called a short sale. A short sale is where you negotiate with the bank or the lender that holds the mortgage, and you agree and negotiate them to take an amount less than the mortgage that's owed. Yes, you're asking them to take a loss on the mortgage. And this might sound crazy, but a lot of banks and lenders or credit unions will do a short sale over going through the foreclosure process, because the foreclosure process takes a lot of time and money for the bank, and they're not in the business of foreclosing. They just want their mortgage paid on time every month. So if they can just settle for a lower amount and just get paid out, they would rather do that than go through the foreclosure process. So during a short sale, at the closing of the property, all the proceeds will go to the lender or the mortgage company or the bank. You won't get any money in your pocket. And then the difference of what's actually owed on the mortgage and what the bank receives, normally they'll just forgive that amount and write it off. Sometimes they'll put it as a judgment or a lien on you, so you want to double check on the short sale negotiations that they'll just forgive that extra money. You won't walk away with any money, but you'll save your credit from being ruined for 7 years. Now, if you have debt collectors hounding you down and you're considering bankruptcy, first try negotiating with the debt collectors. Explain your financial situation and try to settle and negotiate the amount to a lower amount for medical bills or unpaid debt. Another option is to get a 0% APR credit card and do a loan transfer or balance transfer onto the credit card so you can make more manageable payments without any interest adding up. Also, divorces might negatively impact your credit score. Not the divorce itself, but if you have joint accounts on mortgages, car loans, or credit cards, and your ex-spouse doesn't pay them, you're on the hook too, and it can damage your credit score. So the first thing you want to do if you're going through a divorce or you finalize a divorce is to unlink yourself from any joint accounts on debt, like a mortgage, car loan, etc., because you don't want their actions harming your credit score. The next thing you want to do is to check your credit report. Your credit report is different from your credit score. Your credit report is a detailed report breaking down all your debt and your payments and how much you've made, and if they're on time or not, etc. You can go to annualcreditreport.com, and once a year, you can get a free credit report from all 3 major bureaus. You want to check your credit report for any inaccuracies or mistakes that could be harming your credit. The first thing you should look for when you're going through your credit report is re-aging debts. Among the most common violation on every credit report is a miscalculated age on a debt. Understanding how a debt's date of last activity is calculated is paramount to having a good credit score. Chances are it's not even being reported correctly. Why? Because debt collectors like to report to the credit bureaus when they take over the debt to go collect on you. And if the credit report dates the last activity as the time that they bought the debt from the original lender that you owe money to, that's a surefire way of getting it removed because it's reported incorrectly. Just because they took over the debt collection doesn't mean the debt can be re-aged to a new time. The debt is still from the original time you first missed payments and owe the money to the lender. If you're still confused and want to look into it, just look up date of last activity and re-aging debt in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The reason you want to check this is a more recent date is going to hurt your credit score more. The fresher the debt and the higher the amount of the debt, the more negative impact it makes on your credit score. Next, you want to request that the debt collector shows they actually have proof that they have the authority to collect the debt. This might sound redundant, but you'll be surprised. When you request validation of debt, they have to provide the original contract from the lender and the debt collector, giving them permission to go after and collect the debt. If they don't have this, then you're not obligated to pay the debt back. So for example, if you owe medical bills to a certain hospital, you need to see an original contract from that hospital to that debt collector or their agency, giving them explicit permission to collect your debt on their behalf. And furthermore, the debt collector has to show actual proof that you owe that debt. This sounds super obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many debt collectors only have an internal invoice saying, hey, this person owes $24,000 for this hospital. No, you have to request that they show the original contract showing the debt owed between you and the lender. So if a hospital says you owe $20,000 medical bills, you need to show the contract that shows the hospital charging you $20,000 and the paper you signed that's saying that you will pay that $20,000 back. If they can't provide those original copies, then they don't have the authority to collect the debt, and you can actually call the credit report bureaus and tell them to wipe that debt off your credit report because they can't prove the debt. Now, if you do actually come across a situation like this on your credit report, the next step is to send a letter, a verification letter, to the credit bureau. Now, there's plenty of templates and examples of this online. I'll let you Google that yourself. But if you send that over to them and they call them up and they can't verify the debt, then by law, it has to be removed from your credit report. Now, let's say the debt collector shows all those things and it's all legit. The next thing you're gonna do is start with negotiations. I would start out with something super low, like 10% of the debt owed. So if they say you owe $20,000, I'd say, hey, look, I'll pay $2,000 right now, we settle the debt. Obviously, there's gonna be back and forth, but once you reach an agreement, make sure you also put in the language that if you pay off this debt, not only is it settled, but they will contact all 3 credit bureaus and remove it from your credit report. However, there is one caveat. If you have a very old debt, you might think about just not paying it at all. Here's what I mean. Let's say you have unpaid medical bills that's been in collections for 4 years, and maybe now you got some money and you're thinking I should pay it off. However, if you do pay off that debt, the date of last activity is now gonna be the day you paid it off, and that re-ages the debt, and that resets the 7-year clock of having that debt on your credit report. While on the other hand, if you just ignore it and you don't pay it, and you wait 3 more years to let that 7th year pass, it'll fall off your credit report and won't hurt your credit score anymore. So sometimes paying off old debts is actually worse for you than not paying at all. And then even though you pay it off, it'll still damage your credit score for another 7 years on top of those 4 years that have already passed. So essentially, fixing your credit score just boils down to 2 main things: eliminating bad or incorrect debt information on your report, and building new and good credit going forward. It's not rocket science, it takes time and discipline. You don't have to go pay someone for a credit repair course, etc. You can do it on your own if you have the discipline and you have the willpower. If you receive value from this video or learn something new, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more personal finance, real estate, and travel hacking tips.